Hey everybody, welcome into the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 191. I'm your host Expat, along with my co-hosts Burly of Burlyman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. So how are you all doing? So I think Carl, welcome back by the way. So it's been a couple of weeks. Isn't daylight savings time ending in a couple of weeks in the US, I think?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't paying attention, so if it is, yeah.
Yeah, it ends, I think, early November we get that.
Yeah, November 3rd, I think it is, yeah. So finally I can sleep an extra hour before doing the show.
Yeah. And we lose all our daylight time.
Yeah. Like it gets dark here in Japan at like 5 o'clock. So, yeah, I mean, but we don't have daylight savings time here in Japan, so we're on Japan Standard Time all year round. So, how about you, Leah, out there? Do you guys have daylight savings time?
Yes. So basically, next week, like the clock will go back 1 hour. So.
Oh, that's right. Next week, yeah, in Europe, I think it is, yeah. So and the UK as well. So.
To me, nothing changes. Like pretty much the same thing. Like it really makes no difference in terms of light. We still get around like 12 to like 14 hours of daylight all year round. So I guess one of the benefits of living near Africa.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good stuff. All right, we got a great show for you. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. So we're going to be talking first about the Xbox Partner Preview, so breaking down all the major announcements and reactions. Then we're going to get into Shawn Layden's comments about creativity when it comes to gaming, and he's saying there's a collapse of creativity. We're going to talk about that. Project Ethos. We got some hands-on impressions, and Burly's going to be talking about that a little bit. He was playing some of that. Clair Obscur, so Expedition 33 gameplay. We're going to talk about that, give our reactions to that as well. Astro Bot, we got some new content for Astro Bot, so talking about that. And then a One More Thing story later on we'll be talking about. So a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. So... yeah, but first, let's talk about the games we've been playing. And Carl, I know since you've been gone for a couple weeks, I know there's probably some things you might want to talk about because I know you've been playing Metaphor Fantazio. So I wanted to get your take on how you like the game so far. I think most of us, we all finished the prologue demo before the game was released. But, now you and Burly, I put maybe an hour into it because of all the video content on the Arena Productions. I haven't had a chance to play it much, but especially for you and Burly and Leah, I don't know if you're also playing the main game now, but Carl, I'll let you start. Your thoughts on Metaphor Fantazio.
Yeah. Well, is anyone else here actually playing through it?
Oh yeah.
I know Burly is. Yeah.
Okay.
And Leah, you too.
Okay. I think I'm probably like.
No, okay.
30-ish hours, maybe less. I don't. Burly, how far are you at? Do you know?
I just finished the Cathedral dungeon, and
Like,
it's
oh, like the first big one, right?
the first really big dungeon. Yeah, and then I did
that dungeon's massive, and
that
that brings
dungeon
me.
was way too long.
It's
I'll
maybe a little bit, yeah, but that's fine because that's one thing I will point out about this game that is different from the Persona games so far is that the dungeons are awesome. Like I love that we have these more traditional JRP dungeons, and they did do that a bit in Persona 5, right? We did get some of that. They were fairly simple, but they had a bit of aspects of that to it, right? I like the direction they were going. Here it takes it another step to have like some very large dungeons. From what I've heard, there are sort of different things that will come up, like unique things in other dungeons later in the game. So like they're sort of like playing around and doing fun things, which again used to happen, right? Old Final Fantasies like 7 and 8 would have like special little gimmicks, right, in certain dungeons, and I love that. That's fantastic. But this game, man, I so incredible. I mean, it is, you're taking that Persona formula, and then you're like, all right, what can we do with that? We're gonna have a new setting, right? But we're gonna apply it to this fantasy setting. We're still gonna have the sort of calendar thing. We're gonna have like, okay, you have these amount of days. You have a deadline day, right, where something's gonna happen, and you can do certain actions each day and each night, And of course, you have your sort of dungeons, and you can go to. There's smaller side quest dungeons that you can go to, right? Which are all cool. Like I like that. See, that's something that Persona doesn't have, right? The sort of side questy area. These are all unique, pretty areas, right? You go to it, and there's a map. There's you got to walk around and you can find items, and usually they're fairly simple, right? But there is at least an effort there to make this sort of smaller dungeon.
I just want to say shout out to Burley here. This is his gameplay. So most of it, though, we don't have much of the turn-based combat in this clip that Burley's showing, but more of kind of like moving around the city and everything. So yeah.
Anyway. As is with the Persona games, there will be times where you're not doing any sort of combat, right? You're not doing any sort of traditional gameplay that you might think of, right? But that's fine because I think the story and the characters are really well written, and I enjoy it. And that's always been what Persona was so great at, right? So we're getting that here. We have a new sort of combat dynamic, right, where they've got the basic, of course, weakness things, right? But this one, they've added like some little tweaks to that, where if you hit a weakness, then you get sort of an extra turn to act, right?
Right.
And these are sort of like half actions, right? So like, you can take there's certain actions that you can do that lead to a half action. Like, so you could pass your turn, which is really cool, right? So that if you have a character, let's say, I can't hit a weakness, right? Or I want to take a different action this character doesn't have. I can pass my turn without losing an action, as long as it's not a half action, right? It's like there's a lot of strategy there that I really love. A lot of things you can play around with. There is also the one thing I hate, but I guess it's kind of neat that it's like a gamble that things could go horribly wrong. Because if you miss, you lose an action. So not only do you miss that attack, you lose another action. And I'm like, no, that's really bad.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of strategy to like not wanting to get surprised by the enemies, because if the enemies attack you first, you can be in a lot of trouble. You can get wiped, like if you go against the wrong enemies. Like there's more times in this game than Persona where it feels like there's challenge. I feel like there's more strategy. You have a class-based system, right? Instead of Persona, you have like each character had their own sort of kind of class, right? They just had their own specific progression, and then your main character could be like whatever.
Yeah.
In this game, it's like your Final Fantasy class system, where anyone can learn sort of any class, but then you can mix and match those things by like skill inheritances. So once you've learned some skills, you can inherit those skills. I just love what they did with all of that combat. Voice acting is incredible. I love that the type of accents that they're going with here. Mm-hmm. They're not doing like English accents. They're more like Irish or Celtic or those type of things, right? Yeah, man, it's phenomenal. The music is incredible. I just do not want. I just want to keep playing this game. Like it's that game that just keeps drawing you back to keep playing all the time. Like just thinking about it all the time when I'm not playing it.
Will this game be nominated for Game of the Year, Carl?
Yeah, it has to be. It just has to be. It is like as good as Persona 5 Royal, which was a Game of the Year, or just Persona 5, right? Which was Game of the Year, and in some ways better. I mean, it's a more mature story, right?
Yeah.
I think the combat is probably more interesting. I think the design, like I said, of the dungeon stuff is more interesting. It absolutely is a Game of the Year worthy game. Will it win? That's really going to depend on how the jury feels about this type of a game. But man, would that be incredible? It's not going to be for everyone, because if you don't like that Persona formula, there's a good chance you won't like this. But if the thing that you don't like about Persona is maybe the high school setting, then this might be for you, because this is your like Game of Thronesy sort of setting. Like, you know, it's serious. You know, there's a lot of death. There's a fight for the kingship. You know, there's a lot of different nations, a lot of different races, and there's so much world building that's just incredible. Like, I'm just fascinated. Like, I haven't done it. I keep telling this, all right, I'm going to dive into the like encyclopedia, and I want to read about all the different races, because every time you meet a different one, you're like, wait, what's special about this one? Like the guys with the horns, okay, I get that. The elf sort of people with the long ears, okay, I get that. But then there's like the girl and another guy I've seen who have these like sort of like shiny like eyes, and like their hair is like sort of has multiple colors in it. I'm like, well, what's their thing? I'm like, why does some people just seem like slightly different? I'm like, well, why are you different? And why do people treat you that way? Because man, this game is absolutely about racism. Like,
Before you go on there, I was just gonna say the archetype tree. Yeah, there's I think 40 different archetypes in this game. So that's a lot. So
that's cool. I'm using the merchant right now on my main guy. It's because I like raised that rank, that sort of social link rank a little bit more, and that's how you improve that. So like, it's like, all right, I'll play with this one because I can have more skill inheritances, which means I can make it a little bit more varied, right? I can do more with it. And they use an abacus as their weapon. But it's like a heavy duty, like this one I have is like this big like metal ring thing, and you just like whack people with it. I'm like, that's awesome.
Burley, your thoughts on the game, and then get to Leah. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like, I like the whole thing with the architect tree. It reminds me so much of Final Fantasy V job system. And I love that you can learn the jobs, gain them, and then you can just switch and swap to find with your characters and fine tune them. And the nice thing is, as you're leveling up your main character, you're getting stat boosts, but you also get these bonus stat points. So you can allocate them how you want. So you can build your character for a place up. So if you don't like, let's say you don't like having the main guy being a physical fighter, you can put it all into magic and really boost the magic potential. I'm going kind of mixed balance, because in these games you want to have the balance, because you're constantly going to fight enemies, especially in, spoiler alerts, in the first real big dungeon, that cathedral. If you just go pure knight, you're going to lose, because you're going to get into a fight where you can't use physical attacks. You have to use magical attacks or you won't win. So you're going to want to have your party variety, and really think about with your party members, what you think their best roles are going to be and what you need for your party.
And you can change your class on the fly, like out of battle. And your skill inheritances and all that stuff. So you can set up multiple, like, all right, I have this class with these skill inheritances and this class with these skill inheritances. And you can swap those in the menus in between a battle. It's like, if you know, all right, I need these type of skills from these enemies, I can switch it up. What was the other thing I wanted to say about the game? I just love, like, there's this, you didn't obviously probably get to the Gauntlet Runner yet. Like, it's like, you know how they get airships in like Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
So like they have their own version of this like elaborate vehicle that like gets you to travel all around places. And I'm like, I miss that. Like, you miss those. That's what I love. Always Final Fantasy, right? I loved every Final Fantasy. Their own version of an airship, and they're always a little different or unique and interesting. And like that was great. And this game is doing the Final Fantasy thing, but with the Persona layer on top of it, and the Game of Thrones type of, mature story. So like, it's incredible. Absolutely recommended to anybody who has any vague interest in a turn-based RPG. You should definitely try it.
Leah, your thoughts? Are you interested in this?
I don't know, like games that are longer than 30 hours are a struggle for me. I mean, I just finished Astro Bot, and that game is incredibly short, and it took me like a month or something like that. So, yeah, my only crux with this is just how long it is. I just know it would take me like 2 years to finish. But all of this seems very interesting when guys are talking about like the strategies and how the game it does seem very new and refreshing for a JRPG, and I do like JRPGs. So yeah, maybe one day I'll give it a try. It's in the maybe list.
Yeah, and you could probably put on like the lowest difficulty if you want to sort of try to breeze through it a little bit quicker.
Okay, that seems
but
good.
It's
option.
a lot of story. Like if you like story and characters, it's very good.
All right.
Nice.
Good stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the Xbox partner preview. So we're going to talk about that a little bit now. So we'll get to the games that were shown during that. It was about 25 minutes, I think it was. So let's go ahead and look at that. So this is from over at Eurogamer. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and I'll play the trailers as we go along. So the first up, and Remedy had a big showing at this. So we had the Lake House. So the first one here. So it's coming on the 22nd, so next week. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So
it does seem like a more serious story than Alan Wake 2 from the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan Wake 2's story pretty serious. Tell you that much.
I know, but there is some like slight moments of comedy. This one just seems straight into like the horror of the situation. I don't know if it makes any sense.
There's Janina Gavankar. She was in one of those Star Wars games. Was it Burly? I can't remember which one it was.
I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah, she was like she was like in the Empire, and then she she quit or something like that. Yeah. So. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah. So I mean, going back into the Bureau. This is going to be pretty cool. And later on, we're going to be showing another piece from the event that Remedy's got, a lot of stuff coming their way. So, but
yeah. Actually, I wasn't able to watch this live, but then I watched it later, and which was nice because this came on, and I was like, I can skip this. Which, no offense to Alan Wake 2, but like. I didn't play Alan Wake 2, so like, why do I care about the DLC? I'm not gonna play the DLC. So like, it's always my thing.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Next up, so we got Chronos: The New Dawn coming. So
Bloober.
Yes, from Bloober Team. Yep. So let's go ahead and take a look
that
at
one.
That
I was really excited for that. That looked really cool. Like it reminded me of like BioShock, just because of the man has a suit, and it's very interesting. Like with the puzzle pieces, I don't know if it means like what she represents. Is she like the enemy, and like he's moving forward and like playing the chess game? So maybe there'll be like time traveling elements where you can just go back to a certain place to change something to like a strategic kind of tactile like that.
There is something like that because they had some information about this where they talked about the story. I'm not sure where it was, like maybe a press release or something. But it's something to do with, like, I think saving people from like the past who should have died or something like that, or like specifically picking people to live or something. I don't remember exactly, but there is a time travel element there.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You see these like anti-gravity type of scenes here, and kind of a Dead Spacey type of feel to it
definitely.
as well.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the medium. I thought that was an interesting game.
Yeah.
It needed more gameplay, right? Mm-hmm. And this seems like, all right, they're going for the actual like survival horror. We're gonna have shooting mechanics and more gameplay to it, right? And we know that they did a good job with Silent Hill 2, so I'm excited. I'm curious to see what this is going to be.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is one I'll be definitely playing. I've been playing through Silent Hill 2 remake, and they did, like Carl said, they did a great job. And like Expat said, this definitely does give me Dead Space vibes. So you know what? If you're gonna give me vibes on two great games, got me hooked.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. Then they showed Blind Fire, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more later. So another first-person shooter. So, like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza. They basically showed what we saw before. So at the Oryuga Gotoku event. So,
But the cool thing with this that we learned is that the time it got moved up a week. They do not. They're no longer going to be in the same week as Monster Hunter
Wilds. Yeah.
So they're like, let's get out of the way. Our game. No offense to Yakuza, but it ain't. I don't think it's gonna. This side Yakuza game is gonna stand a chance against Monster Hunter.
Yeah. It's a busy month too.
Oh yeah, Avowed.
This game looks insane in all the best ways. Like, if you're a fan of this, you should definitely get it.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. This is my game of the show right here. Mouse PI for Hire. The thing about this game
is this game is so good.
The music in this game is so Cuphead. But going into more of like a black and white feel, from like the 1940s. I'm really, really super excited for this one. So all these different characters here. So like Gabe Clark instead of Clark Gable. It's like they're just changing and mixing the names around. But I just love the way this looks. I can't wait to play this. So.
Yeah, it's really interesting that it's a first-person shooter, and it really incorporated the 1920s animation style. It looks really, really fun.
Yeah.
Curious to see what the story is about, if there is one.
Well, like investigation.
So see?
Like yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be fun. This is giving me good old classic Doom vibes, but just with the
cartoonish style of it all. And the way, the fast-paced nature of it, and just the music. The music alone. Like the 1940 style music. Really, really excited for this one. So, alrighty. So next up, let me go ahead and get down there. So, Subnautica 2. I'm not going to show this one because it was just a cinematic trailer. That we didn't get any kind of gameplay from it, but it's coming to Xbox Series X and S and PC in 2025. Yeah, so
early access.
About time. Like Subnautica, the first one was released a while back, so I'm kind of curious to see what they're gonna bring in the second one. What's gonna be new?
Yep.
Yeah, I like Subnautica. I played that game early, right when it first. I think it was an early access also when it first came out.
Yeah.
And it's a really intriguing survival game. I'm always like want to try those games and find one that I really like. So that was a great one, and this one adds co-op to it now, which I think is a neat idea because that's a game that would be fun like that. And it's going to be on Game Pass, so that's cool. Very excited for that.
Yeah, most of these games are going to be on Game Pass. I mean, but it's interesting how this preview is mostly 2025 games. So it was a pretty good, I think, coming in October to start showing the games that are coming out into the next year. So, but this game next, it's out now actually, Animal Well.
Yeah.
So it's out. So
that was one of those like exclusively not on Xbox games.
Yep. This is actually. Sorry.
Yeah, now it's finally coming to the Xbox. Or it wasn't that. It was this. Was it this year? I think it was, right? Yeah.
It was early this year to PS4 or PlayStation and PC. This was actually funded by one of the big YouTubers, Video Game Donkey.
Yeah,
I've heard of him.
Was he the one in the trailer?
I can't remember if he was in the trailer or not.
Because someone like the trailer was hilarious. Like that's why this game looks interesting, right? But it's not amazing to look at. But it's a neat style. But like what they did in the trailer, the voiceover was just hilarious. You didn't watch this trailer, watch it. You'll be like, oh, okay, I don't know if that has anything to do with the tone of the game, but it makes me more interested.
I mean, it's perfect for the season, especially.
It's on Switch? Yeah, it is. It's also on Switch.
Yeah. Okay, next up, so Eden Zero. So, by Mashima Hiro-san. So, coming in 2025 to Series X, Series S, and PC. So let's take a look at it.
Another anime game. This is an anime.
Yeah.
It's
never heard of.
It's the maker of the anime for Fairy Tail.
Yeah, you'll realize popular out here. Yeah.
This guy looks exactly like Natsu.
Well, I know I've heard of Fairy Tail, but is this also an anime or is this just?
Yeah. It's I'm pretty sure there's anime. There's a manga of it. Okay. That much I know. We're 100% sure, and I'm pretty sure it got a short run anime.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It's one of those like, okay, it's an anime game where it's probably gonna be like a 7 out of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
So, good stuff. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and move on. So then Eternal Strands, we got some of that as well. So it comes out early 2025.
Yeah, and this one's a Game Pass one.
Yep.
And this is a game that I saw at another showcase. One of those like smaller ones, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting looking. It's definitely got like Breath of the Wild and sort of like Shadow of the Colossus like mixed together, which I think is great. It's like they're adding in all of these like elements, right? It's like fire, ice, sort of like effects that like really impact the monsters and the environment,
elemental aspects of that.
And like Breath of the Wild, there's sort of like physics to it, right? There's a lot of things you can do that seem interesting. So so it's one to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Alrighty. Okay, moving on here. Let's go ahead and Mistfall Hunter. So, be released in 2025 on the Xbox Series X, Series S, and PC. So, let's go ahead and take a look at that one. So,
I forgot which one this is already.
This is your other fantasy one.
Very Dark Souls, very...
Was it a Souls-like? I forgot already.
Elden Ring.
It's a roguelike.
I don't know the game.
Yeah.
Mistfall Hunter. Really nice visuals, I gotta say. In these cutscenes, obviously not the actual gameplay here.
Yeah. See if there is some.
Is there gameplay?
I'm not sure if we
There's a little
get
bit of-
gameplay on this trailer.
No,
I
no,
don't
this
remember.
gameplay's it's mostly a CG trailer,
Yeah.
from what I remember.
Yeah, because it's not going to look that
Yeah,
good.
that's what
It's
I
like-
thought as well. So, I mean, visual looks cool, but there isn't much for us to really
All right.
say,
Okay.
I
This is
guess,
one that's
unless we see
third-person
gameplay.
action PvPvE extraction RPG. Okay.
Yeah.
Mixing some genres here.
There's some of the gameplay here. So
You never know.
Oh.
Could be really cool.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for me, but it does look really cool.
yeah.
So isn't there's that category of like really cool looking multiplayer sort of fantasy RPG-ish type games that I'm always skeptical of that they're actually going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Next up, coming to Xbox Series XS and PC in 2025, Wheel World. So, if you like bicycling,
I think isn't like one of the
Yeah.
bicycle skins you can get makes it look like a hot dog.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I do remember from the little floating skull with your bicycle.
yeah. Actually, out here where I live, out here in Japan, they're having bicycle races yesterday and today. So,
Right on.
stuff,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah, this one was, I believe this one's Game Pass also. And
yeah, yeah, Game Pass, yeah.
This is cool. This is a cool indie. You know, this is like exactly what you want in a service like that because it's like, all right, bike racing doesn't seem that interesting, but then when you add on this sort of like open world that you can
There you go,
explore,
Burly the hot dog. Yeah,
right?
And he had a
All this
tree as well.
customization. Yeah, there's this.
yeah,
It seems fun.
yeah, yeah. It's good stuff.
It does seem
Alrighty.
fun.
Alrighty. Okay, so next up, we got Phasmophobia finally coming to the Xbox on the 29th.
Yep.
It took a
Coming
long
up.
time, like,
I know
to
nothing
come to
about this.
Xbox.
Burley, I'm
Yeah.
sure you do, being in the Twitch community. I mean, I'm sure, you know.
Oh, I
this
have
is
this.
so big,
I have this game.
Yeah.
On PC, this is one of the most unoptimized games you'll ever see. Every time it updates, you have to then go back to all the graphical settings that you have set. It is a fun game, and like if you get the right group of people, you can have a lot of fun. Just grab some beers and just sit and play together.
What is it? What do you do?
So what you're doing
It's
is you're going to.
basically you're like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Burley.
Oh no, you go ahead on this.
Okay, it's basically like you're with a group of friends and you're hunting ghosts and apparitions and things like that, and you're exploring a different buildings and anything can happen. It's just chaos, basically. It's a really a fun game to play with a group of friends and see who makes it alive and survives the level.
So like there are ghosts and the ghosts can kill you.
Oh yeah, you can
Yeah,
get killed. There's different
oh,
type of ghosts. Like you can see like stuff like ectoplasm. Do you put if you throw out the Ouija board? Does it move the Ouija board and stuff like that? And you have a journal and you
Okay.
circle all these clues till you guess at the end. And you
Okay,
have like
so
a
the game was PC only, and now it's coming to Xbox and PS5 October.
yeah.
Okay, next up, The Legend of Babu. So, if you
This
like
was
playing,
on-
if you like playing games with fluffy dogs, this one's for you. I'm
Yes,
sure.
that's for me. This reminded me of The Last Guardian, which is a PlayStation game. Came
Yeah.
out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
was kind of the vibes I got from this,
really kind of
which is good.
that type of game.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't. To me, it doesn't look that good. I feel like this is one of those like it could actually be really bad. Like you never know.
Yeah. Actually,
it-
Leah,
to
not
me-
too. The Last Guardian didn't come out that long ago. It came out the previous generation. It just took years and years
Yeah,
and
but
years
like
for it to come out.
any-
10 years.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID just feels ages ago.
I know,
Like,
yeah,
there was
yeah,
Yeah, it was
a-
like
a
2016 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting some Kana vibes with the combat in this.
Yeah.
So
The dog climbing.
yeah. No, this is one I'll definitely keep my eye.
Yeah.
Hopefully the dog is responds better than the beast from The Last Guardian, because that was a bit hassle in the game. He was a bit disobedient, and the player just get into trouble because like he wouldn't respond well. So it was fun. They improved this a bit.
Okay, so hack and slash and magical combat. Wu Chang, I guess. Fallen Feathers.
Wu-Tang, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Game Pass one also.
Yeah, Game Pass one also. Yeah.
Wu-Tang looks incredible. Like,
yeah.
I'm surprised at how good it looks. I don't, it's again one of those ones that, like, who knows if it's going to be good. What was the other one? Wolong Way, which was also kind of similar. This one, that game was supposedly pretty good, not like amazing or anything. Mm-hmm. This is a Chinese studio, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, the combat in this looks intense. I mean, it looks really good. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and scroll on here. We'll get to some of that. So here we go. So right here. There we go. There we go. So in-game footage here. So
yeah, this is like their, sort of Black Myth Wukong, another one of those Chinese developer, like making a big AAA-ish thing now. I don't know what else this team has made.
Like Stellar Blade, the combat a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, probably like that too. Yeah, that's in that category.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, that's like a mini Gatling gun of
super cool,
super fire. Yeah,
I feel like that's how I'd want to play the game: shooting fire and like lightning and whatever magic blasts and stuff. That looks fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I looked at a lot of variety in the builds, how you could play.
Yeah. Yeah, these bosses. Yeah. Looks pretty interesting. So.
That was cool.
Yeah.
This is one of those that could be like incredible or could be just okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is this stuff? Lindsay.
Yeah.
Okay, they have nothing else on Steam. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably made mobile games.
Carl's gonna be Carl, as our resident Xbox expert, is gonna tell us all about these games.
Generally, I mean, I pay attention to the Xbox stuff all the time. So, like, I'm aware of all these games. Most of these, some of them are new announcements, but like this one has been on the Xbox radar before. Yeah, I'm assuming it's multi-platform. I don't think this is only on Xbox.
No, I think it's multi-platform. It's everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe not Switch day one for sure. So.
Definitely not Switch. Maybe Switch 2. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
On the Super Switch, yes.
Yeah. Whatever it's called. Yeah. I mean, come on, Nintendo! Just give us the reveal already. We're just yeah.
We're waiting.
Speaking of Black Myth Wukong, it was rated in one of those. Was it another country or one of those things that sometimes often reveals when it's coming and for Xbox? So I think that's going to hit soon.
Yeah. All right, and then finally, 3-player co-op experience in Control Alan Wake universe. Remedy. Again, yes, battle the Hiss as a team in the oldest house, of course, the Bureau. Again, so coming in 2025 to Xbox Series X, Series S, and PC. Firebreak, FBC Firebreak. So yeah, this looks pretty. This is basically like Control with three-player co-op. So yeah, Burley, what are your thoughts on this one?
This one looks interesting, especially because it's a co-op experience. So I can just imagine sitting there and like communicating with my friends, being like, "No, we have to do it this way. We all stick together." And one person's gonna go, "I'm gonna go this way and do this instead," because I think I know better. AKA Fubu. I mean,
I can play this game. I have no friends. And Fubu is not help because I tried playing Overcooked with him once and he couldn't even cook the steak. Like, it was tragic. I can only imagine what this would be like.
Oh, goodness.
Overcooked's fun. I like that game.
Yeah. It is fun.
Stressful, though.
Oh, yeah, when you get into the later levels and,
Yeah.
The good old gnome.
Yeah.
But the trick of every co-op is communication, and if like the communication isn't working, you're screwed.
This was another one I checked out because I'm never gonna play something like this.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Future Commandos trailer. Should watch that. Unrelated, maybe later.
All right. So overall assessment of this partner preview, Carl?
I thought it was great. It's exactly what you want in this type of partner preview event where the expectations are not high, right? Every time they've done this, the expectations have been set to all right, it's going to be third-party stuff. It's not going to be big stuff, right? So expect indies and double A's. Expect things you may have seen already, and a couple reveals, a couple Game Pass announcements, and that's what we got. And the presentation, ever since I don't remember when they updated it, if it was last year, presentation is stellar. It's just perfect. I just love what they're doing with it. The flow is really well. The graphic, the design of everything they do, in between stuff that's going on. It's informative. The way they every once in a while they break out and they tell you a little bit of thing here, and they tell you go here to get a little more information. Which if you were to go to the Xbox Wire, there are a couple more sort of deeper dives into some of the things that were revealed there. So yeah, this is a great smaller event.
And I like the fact that we're getting a look at some of the titles that are going to be coming in 2025. A lot of these games are 2025. We don't know when. I mean, some of them are going to be in the spring, perhaps, but at least we get a look at what we're going to be getting, and the variety of the types of games that we're getting was really cool as well. So, Leah, your assessment of the partner preview?
Expat, I might say there was a lot of creativity there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, creativity for sure.
For the next story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Leah, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a very good presentation. You have a lot of variety of games, so there's something for everyone in here, and they all seem very exciting. So can't wait for the games to come out.
Yeah, Burley.
Yeah, it was a good variety, and it at a good length. It flowed well, and there was good variety. There was stuff I liked, like seeing the Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC that I'm very interested in, and so you got a little bit of stuff this year and stuff next year. We don't know for sure when this stuff is coming next year. That's the thing. This could be early first half, or this could be late next year, or 20. Let's be honest, some of the stuff could be 2026, which is fine because stuff happens and all that.
Yeah, so a lot of release windows, which is I mean, I guess they're playing it safe in that sense. So, but I thought it was a pretty solid event. So, all right, so it's time to move on. So now let's talk about Shawn Layden. So there you go, Carl. Creativity. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So former PlayStation exec Shawn Layden says there's a, quote, collapse of creativity in the industry. This is from over at Eurogamer, so I'll read a little bit of it for you. Former PlayStation exec Shawn Layden has discussed the state of the games industry, stating that there's a, quote, collapse of creativity, and that relying on blockbusters is, quote, a death sentence. Layden took to the stage at Gamescom Asia alongside Raw Fury co-founder and chief publishing officer Gordon Van Dyke, where the pair discussed the disappearance of AA studios. So in the past, said Layden, studios focused simply on whether a game was fun rather than monetization schemes. Though admitted risk tolerance, quote, risk tolerance was very high. So, quote, he says, today, the entry cost for making a AAA game is in hundreds of millions now. And he continued, quote, I think naturally risk tolerance drops, and you're looking at sequels, you're looking at copycats, because the finance guys who draw the line say, quote, well, if Fortnite made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this in that amount of time, end quote. So we're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today, the studio consolidation, and the high cost of production. So further, Layden stated, quote, "AA is gone," which he described as, quote, "a threat to the ecosystem." So my question to you guys is, do you think that there is a collapse of creativity in gaming, and is the AA type of game dead? Carl, I'll start with you.
I'm going to say no and no. I understand what he's trying to say. He's really mostly talking about creativity in AAA gaming and how studio consolidation and high cost of production makes them take less risks, right?
Right.
That's not wrong, but this got headlines because of that line, and that line of collapsed creativity, I think, is just false when you look at the entire landscape. I mean, sure, if you're looking at some just specifically AAA, you're probably going to see less creativity, right? But I don't know that hasn't always been the case. I mean, when we're talking about a lot of money, they're always going to want to mitigate risk. It's just how it is. AA, I think it's just, we're in a different place. We're at different costs and budgets, and I don't know what is considered AAA at this point. Like, how much budget, right? It's like, where are we talking about? Does it have to be like
100 million
or more? Is
yeah,
that AAA? So under 100 million, is that AA? Like to under a certain amount that becomes indie? Like, I don't know, but I think there's still a ton of games in that category of, like, I don't know, 10 million to 40 million. Like, there's got to be a lot of games in that range. You're just not going to see them from your big publishers, and maybe that's what he's talking about. You may want to see more of that.
I think one of the examples would probably be a game like Hi-Fi Rush, would be like a AA type of experience, which, it's...
Maybe, right? Yeah. We don't know what that costs. I mean,
Yeah, we didn't know. But
is it 50 to 80 million? I don't know.
I don't know. Nobody
is
knows.
Is that AAA? But... That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What a Metaphor Fantazio cost? I mean, is that AAA? I don't know, because it doesn't seem like it would have to cost a lot of money to make that game.
Yeah.
It just took a lot of time, right, to write it and develop it. But, like, it's not doing anything very advanced in terms of graphics and, like, game design.
I mean,
action.
I don't know. Just the menus on its own that must cost so much time to make.
I mean, that is beautiful design. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes, and the function, that must be expensive to do.
I can't imagine it's that expensive, right? So much as, like, just making sure it all works, right, and designing it that well. It's not like that's something you couldn't also have done years ago, which is maybe you need the HD sort of vibe to it, right? More memory maybe in your consoles, but no.
Well, wouldn't you say the Assassin's Creed series, and especially, like Odyssey and, now, of course, Shadows, it's coming sometime next year, probably. I mean, that would be the AAA type of game. I mean, that definitely the budget's probably over 100 million on that one, and a 40+ hour experience at least, maybe closer to 100 hours. I mean,
and that's the kind of game, right? That's massive, and you see why it costs so much money, because it's a huge open world with huge amounts of, like, detail, things that need to be populated in that world, and then the amount of like bug fixing, like QA work you have to do for a game where there's just, like, you could break it in so many different ways, versus, like, Metaphor Fantazio. Again, I will go back to my example, like, how much can you break that game? Like, sure, there's bugs that can happen, right? And there's QA that needs to be done, but there's less when it comes to a turn-based game, a more traditional style like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Burly, your thoughts? Go ahead, chime in here.
For the whole AA, I'm thinking I'm gonna go by, like, by meaning like costs that they sell it to you at. And yeah, there's a lot less AA. AA is shrinking. It's not gone away. The market now is mostly AAA and indies. Let's be honest.
Well, let me just stop you there. Wouldn't a AA game be considered an indie game, an indie title now?
I mean, it can, right?
It should
gray
be.
Area.
It should be, I guess.
Yeah, indie is an indie. Like, it's a small company and not a lot of budget. That's
independent
the
studios. I mean, that's the general definition. Yes.
Like Baldur's Gate is technically an independent studio, so are they? They're not. If that's not an indie game, but
Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars, right?
But there is creativity. There's a lot of games that are, the same over time, new releases, not much change, not much creativity. You're going to always have that. But then you've got like indies have been lighting the world on fire with creativity and cool things. And
Sea of Stars, I mean.
Sea of Stars. Yeah. And when AAA, we just got a lot of creativity. Astro Bot. That was that was a lot of creativity. If you tell me that's not creative, I don't want to listen to you because you're wrong.
Collapse of creativity generally in the gaming industry. I don't know. There's a lot of creativity out there.
I'm just gonna throw the ball in here. The man is correct. I don't want to hear about you guys. You've been complaining that the only AAA games cost money to make and so much time. And like, the example he's giving is Concord, right? Like, so much money put into it, such a big thing, and then it completely collapsed and it was gone in 2 weeks. Like, I think this was taken out of context. What he's talking about here is that there's a collapse on the AAA gaming, because let's look at the release schedule for this year, right? Silent Hill 2, it's a remaster. Then you had, I believe, the Final Fantasy, which is also a remaster. Sonic's Generation is a remaster. We had Wukong, which is not even like the big ones. Outlaws wasn't that great either. It was a AAA game. I mean, Metal Gear Solid is a remake. What else am I missing here? Like,
there's a lot of remakes this year. This year had a lot of remakes, and as we've had over the last couple of years,
it will continue. That trend will continue. I mean,
as long as the remakes keep selling, they're gonna keep doing them. Like, at least in the case of Silent Hill 2, that was a PS2 game, and they're putting it to PS5. And it's actually fully being remade. It's not like
that's
the Sonic one.
That's where I have to agree with Layden in the sense of a collapse of creativity, in the sense that just they're continuing to focus more on remakes instead of coming out with new IPs.
I think some people focus too much on the AAA games and also the games that are just like popular, right? Because if you look at games coming out every week, which we do, we go to releases.com every week and we do our picks of the week, and there are tons of games every week, right? And sure, some of them are small, whatever, like maybe they're not great, but like there are literally hundreds, probably maybe 1,000 games coming out every year. And if you're only looking at a small portion, you might think there's a lack of creativity, but I don't agree with that, because I see so much interesting stuff out there. And you're just not looking for it, I guess. Not you.
But like, the crux of the question is that he's saying that the big studios, the AAA gaming, don't have a lot of risk taking, so they're doing remakes, they're doing sequels, and later he adds that the creativity nowadays isn't there, isn't small studios, isn't independent publishers and productions, and that's where we should take more risks. Is the I don't know. I'll consider Astro Bot like a AA game. Like, I don't know if it's a AAA.
Probably, yeah.
But like, it's those games, like, and
Burly.
He's obviously just taking into account.
Chime in, Burly. I know you're. I saw that face there when you said a AA. No, that's a AAA.
No, you play through Astro Bot. you beat and you do everything, and all the references, all the graphical stuff they do, everything they do, and all the charm and effort, you can tell. I know Leah can agree on this. All the effort that was
I
put into
agree.
that game, that is AAA to me. I can understand why some people may think on that, but to me, that game's AAA. Once you sit and you actually play it and you do everything, you see everything that they put on into it, and yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, AAA.
To me,
These
it's
terms
like
are about
it's
were about budget, right? Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think Astro Bot had like the budget of like Spider-Man 2.
Oh God, no! Yeah, it did
that's-
not have that budget.
Yeah, so it would be
Yeah.
considered AA, not because of the experience or how good the game is. It's just a matter of budget, and that's what he's selling. Like, these games are costing so much money, and they're just not that great compared to smaller games that maybe don't cost as much, and that's where they should invest. And obviously this is more to studios like Ubisoft, PlayStation, because if you look at Nintendo, that doesn't really happen on Nintendo. Like, they're taking risks, they're coming up with new
Well,
things, and they're like the
And they're
main
not
franchises.
they're not spending hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right. I was going to say, Leah, everything they make is AA.
Yeah, it's great, and it's like the main
Yeah, no.
But that's
well,
the
like
point of
Nintendo
the
can make 5 games for the price of Spider-Man. What they spent for Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Right. I mean, literally, I would say
For
Nintendo
example-
probably has like 2 AAA franchises right now, right? Like Zelda and Mario. And I'm talking about the 3D core Mario game, right? Not the other ones.
Yeah.
Maybe Metroid Prime, but I'm not sure how much that. I mean, they had
We'll
to
see.
remake
Next year.
That one doesn't. I don't think Prime 4 from what the initial reveal. And don't hate me. Like that does not scream like that's looking like that's costing them that much. There might be some extra cost because of the start and stop nature of it.
Right.
But
that was AAA in the 360 era.
Yeah, but the return on those games, though, I mean,
That was huge. That's why they're so successful, because they're not spending as much money.
Yeah, and Nintendo
more,
takes
selling more
risks.
copies.
For example, like Zelda just came out, Echoes of Wisdom, completely out of the blue. No one expected that. A completely new take on
Let me ask everyone this. Okay, Concord, right?
Okay.
Obviously AAA.
Burley, throw this one in the chat.
Creative or not creative?
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't get the chance to play it. Like, they killed the game.
And it's
before
just
Yeah, I
on what
know.
you
It's
know,
like 2
right?
weeks. Boom. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
Based on what you know about like that game, do we think would that fall into? We think that's a creative game in the AAA space, or is it not really that creative?
Yeah.
I don't know.
the only thing creative about Concord to me is that they were trying to push a story on that. From everything I saw, this just looked like Overwatch with fake Guardians of the Galaxy skin kind of thing.
I just don't classify a hero shooter as a AAA game. I just don't. I mean, it's hard to do.
Well, but they like Overwatch is AAA, right? We're talking budget wise, right? They are. And Concord, from what we hear about the budget, definitely AAA.
Yeah, if we're only classifying it in a budgetary sense, yes. But I mean, just in the sense of like I'm looking at AAA not in a budgetary sense, but like in a broad scope, like in macro terms, like, you know, a huge open world, 100+ hour game. That's what I classify as a AAA game. You know, not some hero shooter that, you know, you just play round after round after round with people online. So yeah, go ahead, Leah.
Okay, so we don't go in a rabbit hole. I went to Wikipedia, and it literally says that it's the games with the higher budgets and levels of promotion.
Okay,
so, given the amount of money put into making and promoting this, it's expected to be a higher quality game.
Right.
That's the definition of AAA.
I got another fun question. All right, here we go. Let's all name a franchise that we think isn't creative enough that in the AAA-ish space, right? That we think falls into the line of, we should be doing more creativity there.
Okay, Carl, can you throw that in the chat too, please? Yeah.
I'll go first, and here's mine. Yeah. Pokemon. You gotta stop doing this You got to be more creative. You got to do more than what you've been doing with that franchise. And it's probably not that high budget anymore, but it should be pretty high, I imagine. You should be putting tons of money into Pokemon and making something really incredible and really pushing that franchise to something special, right? Instead of trying to churn out more every year.
Burley, what budget did Scarlet and Violet have? I think it was maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
Probably it wasn't that high. I can tell you, as the guy that played Scarlet and Violet, with the technical problems, that one was not as high. Like, I think Legends Arceus had a higher budget. Like, I give you the mainline Pokemon games that they have not been creative, and they really need to step up their game. But with the Legends Arceus that they put out same year as Scarlet and Violet, and that came out, they were really creative with that one. They took some risks. Did some cool, unique gameplay mechanics that they have not done in Pokemon. That, for me, as a longtime fan since the original games came out, it was like, oh my gosh, this is great. They're doing stuff different. There's some stuff I really like. There was stuff that they could sit and, need to sit and go back to the drawing board and redefine and figure it out a little more. But they did some cool stuff with it. And they actually did some stuff that the story wasn't just the generic, I go around, I'm a 10-year-old, get the 8 badges, beat the incompetent team of adults that should easily be able to take a child out.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments as well, whether you are watching here live or in video on demand in the comments. Was Concord creative or not creative? As well as what AAA franchise is not as creative as it should be. So let us know what you think about those. Yeah, go ahead, Leah. Yeah, you have one.
The Last of Us. Come on.
Boy, that's brutal.
Stop giving us remakes. Give us a new game.
The remakes don't count. I'm not talking about that.
Exactly. That's the crux of the problem. Like, if there's one, because there's huge potential, and they're constantly making efforts and deploying resources to make these remasters and remakes or whatever you want to call them. And by the time they expand all of that, we may have a new game by now. I don't know.
But this is just Naughty Dog executives. They're just like counting the money because of how much every time it sells.
I would say it's probably like Jim Ryan over there, who's like pushing that whole, we got to make all these service games, and they were trying to push, the Last of Us faction service game, and then now they canceled that, and that's definitely set them back as far as how long it's going to be for their next game.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and
Part 2 was just too big. It didn't have to be that big. I think there was also a lack of focus on the game.
I got my money's worth.
And Leah, Part 3 will be bigger.
Bigger.
It's going to be bigger. Oh yeah. Oh, you know it. I mean, it's going to be the end of Ellie's story. So I mean,
they're going to spend $300 million on that.
Yeah, yeah.
I've jokingly called it.
When does it come out? Because 2030 maybe.
2029.
They got to milk the HBO series as long as they can. So they're going to make it very, very long. Yeah. So.
2 years between seasons. Okay, maybe we can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much because we're not getting Last of Us season 2 until next year at least. So, we got the trailer, but I mean next year. So, all right, let's move on, guys. So, Project Ethos. So, another roguelike hero shooter. So I'm gonna let you take this away because I'm gonna be showing your gameplay footage here. Okay, so I want your impressions of what you played of this. But before we do that, let me go ahead and read a little bit of it for you. Project Ethos is a new free-to-play third-person hero extraction shooter. This is from over at IGN. The mixes in roguelite elements. The main game of Project Ethos is an extraction mode. it hits all the right notes as an extraction hero third-person shooter from the review here on IGN. But they say after a few hours of hands-on time, it seems to fall short of delivering anything that's truly genre-defying in either the roguelike or extraction shooter departments. So, Burley, I'll leave it there and let you go ahead and take this away. What are your thoughts about Project Ethos?
Yeah. This game is, if you've played others, it's very similar to other games. Like, this is very similar to Apex Legends and all that. But this one is way harder. I find, like, in this, if you go solo trying to take on enemies, forget it. You need to be with your squad mates, or you might as well forget it. And the amount of time it takes for you to be able to respawn back in, it takes quite a bit. Like, I think here in, like, my footage, you're waiting about a minute and a half before I spawn back in. I'm just rotating between my teammates and them showing them off while I'm waiting to respond. One of the things that does set it apart, you'll see later in the footage, is there'll be these points on the map where you can fight, like, I think they're called, like, echoes of the echo versions of other characters. If you kill them in this area and complete the challenge, you get, like, extra armor, build points that you can use to put your abilities, and you can upgrade them to, hey, now I have a cool. Do I want a lesser cooldown time for my ability, or do I want to give it 10% damage? And some other effects.
This just looks like an Overwatch clone.
It's more Apex than Overwatch. The thing it has, like, with Overwatch is that you're picking your characters, and your characters have different roles and different abilities.
Okay.
This guy here is good with his machine gun's high damage, but it's very not, like, it doesn't stabilize very well, I find. But he's got a good little ground pound move where you just get spikes come up, and that does quite a bit of damage. And he can his left bumper abilities to throw a little shield, so you can throw the shield, shoot behind it and stuff.
Kind of like in Halo, the needle gun. Yeah.
The needler?
Yeah, the needler, yeah.
Yeah, that had the lock on at least, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love the needler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see here, you have your evolution, so you can get little different upgrades to it. Yeah, this is a game I haven't known the name, but there have been rumors 2K has been dropping hints that they have something. Now, I don't, whether this game is interesting, but they're at least launching in the free to play. So they are not going to go, Concord, give us $40 and then you can play the game.
Right.
They're going free to play, which makes sense. You kind of want to go that method. But I can't see this game really, it's going to have a strong when it first comes out. I can't see this having the staying power that's going to take on, Apex, Valorant.
So you're saying that the player base will decrease within a week?
Within 2 weeks. Yeah. I'll give it 2 weeks. Unless they come up with some really good content and good stuff that makes people want to play. Like, you have 6 heroes in the beta to pick between.
Yeah.
So, and they all do have varieties. Like, the medic character, I like playing him as best because what I like doing is staying back, healing my party members. Like, I was playing a game earlier today, and one of them was a sniper. So the sniper, I was just kind of trolling out and getting people to target me. And then one of your abilities with the healer is if you charge the one gauge, you can put this poison fog.
Yeah.
So one of the things I did is I threw down this poison fog, had a bunch of people chasing me. They went into the poison fog. As soon as they come out, the sniper, boom, picked them off for me.
Yeah. I mean, what type of elements can they add to these type of games to make it more long-lasting? I mean, that like Overwatch or Apex or Valorant, has. I mean, that they can add on that those games do not have. I mean, that can make this type of game sustainable, because we're just seeing, more and more of these types of games, these, hero shooters that are coming out and being pumped out, and they're just they're after 2 or 3 weeks they're gone. I mean, everybody's left and either playing something else or going back to Overwatch and Apex and Valorant or whatnot. I mean, so what can a game like this add that those other bigger ones like Overwatch and Apex or Valorant have that can make this game sustainable? I mean, that's my question. I mean, what can they add to these games that would make it special, that players would stick to it? I mean, I don't know, Carl. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not really the person to ask that. Because
okay, Burly, what do you think? Games. Yeah, Burly.
You're gonna have to have a good variety of game modes, but not too many. That's the thing. Because if you have too many, you're gonna have split the player base. Let's say you had a King of the Hill mode, for example. Let's just go with that. You're gonna have people that are play that, but you're gonna also have people playing the main normal mode, the trials mode. And the thing is, you have too many modes, it splits the player base, and people won't be able to find matches. So, like, you got to have a good variety of modes, but not too many. And you got to make the content like people wanting to play this over the others. Like the whole, getting upgrades and stuff like that, and the different evolutions and the cards and all that.
Yeah,
it's very cool and unique, but I don't know if it's going to have enough staying power, because there are going to be people that play this, but it's like, I got my friends, we play Apex every week. You're going to have people that are like that are just committed to these other games, and they've sunk how many hundreds of hours of time, so people are going to more put that time there.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So next up, Clair Obscur. I think that's how you pronounce that. Clair Obscur. Expedition 33, new gameplay. So I want to get your guys' reactions to it, and I'll go ahead and play it for you all. So the combat looks really, really cool. So this is the turn-based combat game. Carl, I guess this one would be up your alley here. I'll let you go ahead and talk about this. And the voice acting on the English side is really, really good. You got Andy Serkis. Yeah, you've got Charlie Cox as well in it. So a lot of good voice acting. So
yeah,
think?
That was probably the big reveal of this. Ben Starr also, I think.
Ben Starr.
Yep. In Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
And then there's some other people I think was in Baldur's Gate 3. This game looks absolutely phenomenal, and it's heavily influenced by Persona, obviously.
Yeah.
In terms of like the way the combat works, right? Or at least the stylisticness, right, of what's going on. Yeah. But then they add these sort of like prompts and things like that, which are always cool. What game started that? Was it Super Mario RPG? That was like the first one that had
timed hits.
Yeah, like the sort of timed hit stuff.
Yeah, I think Super Mario RPG is the first one I can think of.
Yeah, so and that's evolved in a lot of different ways. A lot of different games doing that. Sea of Stars did great stuff with it, and this game's taking that further. Even I'd say, adding sort of different options for like parries or dodges or So, and as for other mechanics, even when you attack, like button mashes or whatever, aiming stuff, which I don't think they show in here, but they said that's in there.
Before you go on, Carl, I just want to say this is from over at Gaming Bolt. Sandfall Interactive has narrowed down the game's release window. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 launches spring 2025 for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Yeah, they said also another reveal. I think they said it was like give me like $50, and it's like a 30-hour game ish.
30+ hour game, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm sure with all the extras, it'll be more. Yeah, I mean that sounds fine to me. I'm all for that. I'm happy about it because I think the production value is also there. This game, I hope, turns out to be incredible. I guess again, trailers look phenomenal. We don't know pedigree. We don't know, the RPG elements behind it. The progression systems. If those are going to feel rewarding or valuable, how the writing and story is going to be. But man, does this game really, really impress, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, Leah, your thoughts?
I mean, it looks incredible. I was surprised to see it's like such big names for voice of the cast, but I can understand like this game has very good potential. I think it's gonna be fun. Though this combat is a bit disorienting for me. I like to just set everything and let it happen in terms of JRPGs. I don't like this having to work out while the battle is going on. I'm more of a classic player in that sense.
So is this AA or AAA, guys?
AAA.
Oh, this is AAA for sure. Just the casting.
But how much money does the studio have? They're not like a big studio. I don't know how they got these big name actors. That mystifies me.
That's the publisher.
Yeah,
that's the publisher.
Oh, yeah.
That I'd have to look up. But this looks great, and I like that they're not just doing because it's a turn-based RPG. They're not. They're actually going full in with the animations to the attacks. I like the whole timed hit bonus stuff, and parrying and countering attacks by enemies, all this and that. So if you've got the good timing, reflexes, all that, you can get bonuses. I'm sure they will put stuff in accessibility to help people reduce, make it easier. I wouldn't be surprised we get something like that. But like getting announced the price, that voice cast, getting a star-studded cast.
Oh yeah,
great! This looks great, and this is a game I have applied, fingers crossed, to get a key for.
Yeah.
So if I do get a key, you'll definitely see a lot of content from me, footage in here, as well as the eventual review and all that.
Yeah.
So this is Kepler Interactive as a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
They have published Sifu, Scorn, Chia, Pacific Drive, Cat Quest 3, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn.
Cat Quest.
So I would say nothing here is AAA. So
Sifu's AA, but Sifu kicked ass.
Yeah,
well, sure. Yeah, that's.
Well, maybe this is their first AAA venture. Yeah, good stuff.
I think it's one of those things where it looks AAA, right? And adding that cast makes it feel more AAA. Is it really? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
We don't know until we find out what the financial, budget of this game truly is, until they come out with that report.
And we probably won't, and it doesn't. Who cares? It really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I think we all could agree this is going to be more AAA than the game that got revealed at the Game Awards 2 years ago, where it had Mads Mikkelsen, not Mads Mikkelsen, that crime boss game that had all those.
Rocky City.
Yeah. It had Michael Rooker and all those people they paid. Right. You can tell the budget went all to the cameos and celebrities.
Yeah.
And the rest did not go to the game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Burly, Astro Bot, new speedrun levels.
If you don't mind.
I mind. Maybe later.
Well, okay. You don't have to. If you don't want to talk about it, really quick, did you guys ever talk about Black Myth Wukong budget that supposedly came out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, last episode, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember if I may have missed that.
I think Fubu was talking about that a little bit. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
But again, it's some of that stuff's all relative to where it's developed, right? It's China, and things are different there. So.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
Astro Bot speedrun levels, Burly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer here. So let me go ahead and get that up and running. But I know you and Leah are probably working on this. So yeah. So new speedrun level. Yeah.
And it's a good speedrun level. There's a lot of room for improvement. It's very linear. It's incredibly well designed. I think speedrunners are going to have a blast with this one.
Yeah. It is out now. It is. Before you go on, Leah, I was just going to say it's out now. It came out on the 17th. So, building speed.
Yeah, and For everyone that isn't into speedrunning, you only have to do a couple seconds and you unlock 2 bots. And you get an achievement on PlayStation if you play the game. And you get 1 bot at least. So it's definitely worth a try, and it's not as difficult as the shape levels. Because those are brutal. This one isn't. It's kind of fun. I feel like there's room to appeal to more people. At least in the first one. I don't know if then the difficulty is gonna increase, but at least this one, good to go.
Yeah, no, the difficulty is definitely going to get harder as we go through these levels as they get released. First one's just a great little trial level, and it uses one of my favorite power-ups in the game, the Rocket Dog. I love that because if you know your platforming and stuff, you know you can use that to take little shortcuts and bypass parts of the level to get the faster time, and that's what I did. And I got both bots on my first run where I made it to the end of the level. Like it's not hard, but when you do fail, it's not that god damn it. It's that one more try. I know I can get this. I know how to get it. It's addictive. And the nice thing is, not only do you get that, you get extra bots. But once you beat the level and you get the bots, you can go back to the main hub world to the PS5 in there, and you can go to the gotcha machine and new things that you can get at the gotcha machine. And with the characters, like I got one in the first level, one of the bots is the Helldiver. Yeah. You get stuff for one of the ships that interacts in there that you can interact with. So it's nice to see that, like, hey, they didn't just put this game out. They're giving free content like they did with the Astro's Playroom on PS5. So every week we're getting a level. We're gonna get five levels in this thing, and I have a feeling next year we're gonna get more content.
New level every week, right, Burly? I think every week there's a new level.
Every week.
Yeah. Yep. Good stuff.
Every Thursday for the next till November 14th is the last level. So
nice.
You know what? Five extra levels, free content. Like, if you told this to EA, they'd be like, "Hell, you talk about? We don't do nothing for free."
Yeah. I hope next week or in the Halloween week, it's a spooky level. Those are my favorites from the game.
Well, I'm going by the title on the Halloween one. It says Spring Loaded Run. So I think we're using those the monkey hands. I think that's what we're getting.
I think so as well.
Next week is Let It Slide.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So we have a one more thing story. So have you guys ever heard of the Japanese term oidashibeya?
No.
Yes, they're forcing people to quit by letting them do nothing. Right?
Okay, so you did your research, Leah, but before that, did you ever hear the term oidashibeya?
Yeah,
expulsion
like a
room.
couple years ago.
Okay.
They also done it here to a lady. It was awful. She felt so bad. Like it's not just unique to Japan.
Yeah. But in Japanese culture, I mean, there's a lot. It's predominant. I mean, especially in businesses. So let me go ahead and read some of this, and I'll go ahead and throw this to you.
So you're telling me they do lay people off, just not directly.
Normally, they go ahead, Leah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just very cultural because they send people and they do nothing for an entire day and just make them feel useless, and that takes a toll on people so much that they have no resource but to quit. So it's like it's worse than getting fired. It's really
messed up.
Yeah, the Bandai Namco situation, it's getting pretty bad. So this is from over at IGN, so I'll read a little bit of it for you. Japanese game company Bandai Namco is reportedly sending staff to expulsion rooms where they have nothing to do after a number of projects were canceled, including one said to be for Nintendo. Bloomberg reported that Bandai Namco, which publishes a multi-million selling Elden Ring, Tekken 8, and most recently the 3 million selling Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which was I think Fubu's pick of the week,
Yep.
Is cutting its workforce after canceling several games due to lackluster demand. The report also alleges Bandai Namco is sending workers to oidashibeya, or expulsion rooms, where they're given nothing to do. This, Bloomberg alleged, is putting pressure on them to leave voluntarily. And that is not only Bandai Namco in Japanese culture, that happens a lot in business culture here. So, according to the site Bandai Namco Studios, the video game development division of Bandai Namco has moved about 200 of its roughly 1,300 employees to expulsion rooms, and nearly 100 have resigned, with more expected to leave in the coming months. Japan has strict labor protection laws that make it harder to cut staff than in other countries, such as the U.S. expulsion rooms are therefore sometimes used by companies to drive staff to become so disheartened that they resign voluntarily and thus are ineligible for severance they would normally receive had they been made redundant. In a statement given to Bloomberg, Bandai Namco denied pressuring staff to leave voluntarily, but did confirm the cancellation of games in development and revealed some employees are now waiting to work on their next project. Quote, "Our decisions to continue games are based on comprehensive assessments of the situation," end quote. Bandai Namco said, quote, "Some employees may need to wait a certain amount of time before they are assigned their next project, but we do move forward with assignments as new projects emerge. There is no organization like an oidashibeya at Bandai Namco Studios designed to pressure people to leave voluntarily," end quote. Bloomberg reports that Bandai Namco has suffered financially in much the same way other video game companies have post-pandemic, with big losses coming from write-downs tied to game cancellations. It alleged that Bandai Namco has recently stopped development on games that feature characters from Naruto and One Piece, quote, as well as project commissioned by Nintendo company, end quote. This mystery, a canceled Nintendo game, was not named. So, what's Bandai Namco's future strategy here? I mean, are they going to get rid of all these employees and then, start from scratch and work from the beginning? You have like Konami that's trying to make a comeback in the gaming scene with the Snake Eater Delta. But I mean, what's the situation? I mean, when it comes to the future for Bandai Namco, in your opinion, Burley? I'll start with you.
Yeah, their future is it's very interesting. I like some of their games have not been doing as well. Like earlier in the year, we got the Tales of the Rise DLC. Because usually for the Tales games, if they'll make the sequel game instead of DLC. This is the first time we had DLC, and I don't remember the DLC getting reviewed well or really talked about for very long. So I know that probably did not help. And some of their other games, that especially because Bandai Namco does a lot of these licensed games like Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and these licenses, I'm sure after every year are going up, 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 and up. And like some of these games, if they're not selling, they're not making money. So
yeah,
I think like they put out that Sandland game that was a one-shot manga, and like I remember people were like, "Oh yeah, Akira Toriyama, it's one of his properties, all this and that," and then just crickets. So I think they've put a lot of games out that are just not doing well, and they need to kind of focus in on properties that they know that they can, good quality games, and then properties that they can actually market and come out that will actually make a splash. Like Dragon Ball, yeah, that you knew that was going to sell well when it came out. That Dragon Ball is always super popular.
Yeah.
Tekken 8 was this year. That assumed did well, right?
Yeah.
I think Tekken did well, but a lot of their other games over the last bit, I don't think have done that well.
I gotta say, I never heard of any of this until this story. I didn't know this was a thing that happened in Japan. I did previously hear about how it's more difficult to lay off employees there.
Wow.
So now hearing this, I'm like, all right, this is worse. This is awful. This is just horrifying.
Yeah.
Imagine to be one of these people, right?
Yeah.
because on top of you losing your job, you're also losing your benefits, like your severance, like those type of things, because you're resigning, you're not being laid off. And that's sort of like what they're probably trying to avoid. And then also it's difficult in Japan, I guess, for whatever reason, the laws make it more difficult to lay people off. But like, so essentially what they wanted to do, according to this, it sounds like they wanted to lay off 200 people. And of course they couldn't legally somehow. So they did this instead.
Yeah.
And so what's the future of Bandai Namco? I mean, it's the same as every other game developer out there who's doing layoffs. Like, they're all doing it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and now, you know, my mind sort of changes a bit when everybody was saying like, oh, look at Japan. Look how the Japanese developers don't lay off everyone like all these, you know, Western developers do. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. But they do worse, you're telling me.
Yeah.
Thanks. No, who knows? Who, like, maybe we just don't hear about this stuff happening. I mean, is this happening anywhere? I mean, Nintendo probably not so much because they're making a lot of money there. But any of the other companies that are struggling, they're probably doing this.
Yeah.
And you know, it makes me think about a little bit of Tango, right? And the situation there, and maybe Microsoft couldn't lay people off there, or if they were going to, it would have been very difficult. It could have been really messy, and this was maybe also a factor in them, you know, basically ending up selling them off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pride issue with a lot of these employees too. I mean, that they get thrown in one of these rooms and they just become redundant, and you know, they you know, they have this feeling of just you know, they don't have anywhere else to go, and so they stay there. But yeah, they've lost all of their pride, basically. It's unfortunate. And it happens a lot here in Japanese culture, unfortunately. So
like, what's the like logistic to this? Like, can I like just like be on my phone? Can I whip out a laptop and play video games? Like,
well, ask. There was a story in the Japan Times, I think it was, or Japan Today, that I forget which prefecture it was. It was in Western Japan. There was a police officer that was. Was caught playing Nintendo Switch games in the police box, basically during his entire shift, and instead of being fired, just was told not to do it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I would love that if that's all the repercussion I would get from my work.
I mean,
if I did that, don't do that again, or don't let me catch you doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is an officer of the law who should be out, you know, taking care of business, you know, out in the streets, and but
yeah, that's different, right? But like, if I'm working for Bandai Namco and I'm in an office and they're just putting me in this room with nothing, like, I'm pulling out my Nintendo Switch and I'm playing video games,
and you're probably on your cell phone,
and you're paying me for that. I'm like, all right, I'm never leaving. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck getting rid of me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but they don't think like that, Carl. It's like they don't think like that. Yeah.
I guess I need to go to Japan and get one of those jobs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that, in here it was a lot worse than in Japan, because the situation that happened with this lady, they put her in the room, and she couldn't do anything. She had to do there, like she had no files, she couldn't access a phone or computer. So it's torture, a lot more brutal, where she had to sit there and do nothing all day. She had nothing. She couldn't do anything. Yeah. And that's why she eventually quit. But yeah, in Japan, if they're that liberal, like, you just go in, read a book, play video games, go home. And like, if a Westerner worked there, probably they would just never leave.
Right.
Get rid of them.
They would find a way to get rid of them, probably.
Can I go sleep in this room?
I don't know.
You're like, can you guys keep it down? I'm trying to get a good nap here.
Because then I'm staying up all night, right, playing video games, and then I'll go work super tired and just like bring a blanket and a pillow and just lay on the floor. I don't care. Let's see.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So it's time to talk about the new game release picks of the week. So each and every week we pick a video game from releases.com. So you can go to www.releases.com and check out all the new game releases for the week of October 21st through the 27th that we're going to be talking about now, as well as all the games that are releasing for the rest of October and beyond. www.releases.com. So you can see the link below in the ticker we have there. So, Leah, you are up first this week. So what is your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is Factorio Space Age. Continues the player's journey after launching rockets into space, discover new worlds with unique challenges, exploit their novel resources for advanced technological gains, and manage your fleet of interplanetary space platforms. It comes out on October 21st for PC. And Factorio, it's really a pure strategy game. Like you set it up, and then they automatically kind of run the machines, and you just mount your factory and you try to build resources and defend your stations and do all of that. And this is surprising because I didn't know that they were going to do like a continuation, a DLC for Factorio. So yeah, I picked it. It's really cool that they're still like investing in this game, even though it came out a long time ago, I think. So it's if you like strategy games, it's basically that. It's just you're gonna really enjoy it. It's all about strategy. You just have to make everything, and then the game kind of plays itself.
Is that like a large spider there? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's aliens. You have to mount your defense to defend your factory. That's part of the strategy as well.
Nice. Yeah.
It's real good. It's basically automation, so creating like a computer
rail system there. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, someone said that playing. I watched this really cool YouTube video where playing Factorio was basically understanding the mechanics of how a computer works, and the communication between all the systems and the circuits. It's basically computation 101. So like if you play Factorio and you are like a developer of any kind in terms of computers, the game really helps with the logic behind all those processes. I kind of like these games. They're really cool. You just come up with a strategy and try to expand. And yeah, if you like the games as well, you should give it a try.
Nice. All right. Let's see. Carl, I think you're up next. What do you got for us?
I picked Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, coming October 24th, exclusively not on Xbox. When I say that, that means it's on everything else, but not Xbox for some reason. No idea why. Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven is a full remake of the groundbreaking non-linear RPG Romancing Saga 2, which originally launched in Japan in 1993. Embarked on an adventure featuring both new and classic Saga franchise features, complete with Japanese and English voiceovers, original and rearranged compositions, and much more. This is an ideal entry for new players and provides an amped up experience for longtime fans. And I'll skip the rest. It's a big description of the story.
Yeah.
I played the demo. I was really impressed by it. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Obviously, I don't have time because I'm playing Metaphor at the moment, but I would like to get it. Maybe if I wait long enough, it'll come to Xbox and I can play it there instead. If not, I would get this somewhere else. PC, maybe Switch, whatever. I have those platforms available.
Yeah.
Or get yourself PS5. You can get.
Yeah.
I don't need one of those to play this game.
Yes, you.
Yes, one of
you do,
those.
Carl.
PS5 Pro. There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Pro.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll
November.
need that Pro for Wolverine.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. There was some news out about Wolverine. Yeah. Some. Looks making progress, I guess. So maybe next year we'll get a release window.
You gotta show us it next year.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Burley, you're up next. What do you got for us?
My pick of the week is Soulstalker. It's a game that was on Kickstarter. It's inspired by Vampire Survivor, the gameplay, but the art style very much Paper Mario.
Mm-hmm.
This game, because I did Kickstart it, I got it a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of fun. So you're just instead of Vampire Survivor, where you're just trying to last as long as you can on one map, this you're in a little level. You got a clock countdown for X amount of seconds. You survive, and the amount of enemies you killed and enemies left on the screen when you end that session, you'll get money for. And then you go to then you pick your path. There'll be branching pathways. So you can pick: do I want to go to the shop? Do I want to take on an enemy? Just a normal level boss area? What you're choosing your path. It is really, really cool, really addictive fun. Like you'll and then you have different, and there's tons of different weapons. So you can slowly, as you're doing runs, figure out the types of weapons you like, the ones you don't like, and figure out your playstyle.
Nice.
I mean, I was told when you told me it was like Vampire Survivors. That was it. That's all I need to know.
Oh yeah,
and the fact that it's limited, like there's a timer. That's even better. Because one of the things of Vampire Survivors is that after a while it just becomes impossible because the enemies just coming and coming and coming.
Oh, when you spend 45 minutes on Vampire Survivor and then the Reaper's just like comes out to put you out of your misery. Yeah. No, these runs are not as long, and I have played this on Steam Deck because I got the Steam version, and it runs well on the deck. So nice. It's just, if you want you like your roguelike, quick little fun, see how long you can survive, highly recommend checking it out. And it's coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, 5, PC, even the Nintendo Switch. You can play it on everything. And then your smart fridge next year.
Yeah. Carly, you playing Metaphor on what?
Steam.
On your
I
deck?
bought it. Yep, on the deck. It does not last long on the deck. I could tell you, like, I think I was playing like at one section, and I went from like 92% within an hour, went down to like 52%.
Oh, I need a deck to play Romancing Saga 2.
I highly recommend the Steam Deck.
Okay, next up, my pick. So, the only obvious choice for this week. So, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Developed by Treyarch and Raven, Black Ops 6 is a spy action thriller set in the early 90s, a period of transition, upheaval in global politics, characterized by the end of the Cold War and the rise of the United States as a single superpower. With a mind-bending narrative and unbound by the rules of engagement, this is signature Black Ops. The Black Ops 6 campaign provides dynamic moment-to-moment gameplay that includes a variety of play spaces with blockbusters, set pieces, and action-packed moments, high-stakes heists, and cloak and dagger spy activity. In the best in-class multiplayer experience, players will test their skills across 16 new maps at launch, including 12 core 6v6 maps and 4 strike maps that can be played 2v2 or 6v6. Black Ops 6 also marks the epic return of round-based zombies, the fan-favorite mode where players will take down hordes of the undead in 2 brand new maps at launch. I hate when these things like end just before I can finish reading it. It's like, of course, having to control all of the production here. And anyway, so Black Ops 6 also marks the epic return of round-based zombies, the fan-favorite mode where players will take down hordes of the undead in 2 brand new maps at launch. Post-launch, players can look forward to even more exciting maps and groundbreaking experiences dropping into both multiplayer and zombies. Out on October 25th for PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox Series X, and will be Game Pass Day 1, which will be very, very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to the campaign and playing the campaign. First time in a couple of years, thanks to Game Pass. So I'm really, really excited for it. So your guys' thoughts, Black Ops 6, and of course, the early 1990s. I'm really excited to go back to this time because, I had just finished college during the first Iraq War. So, interested to see how they portray this. Your guys' thoughts, Burley?
Yeah, no, this one I'm very curious to see how this one is gonna go. Like I did like the last Black Ops Cold War. That was a really good one. This they're doing the whole base thing, so I'm curious what other stuff they're gonna do with the campaign. Like one of the nice things with Black Ops Cold War, you had the psychic valuation at the beginning, and it gave you perks and drawbacks, so you could make the campaign harder for you and easier in some sense. So it'd be kind of cool what they do with the campaign and all that. Yeah, the zombies, like apparently they're supposed to do like an open worlds kind of zombie thing, which is be interesting. Like I haven't played Call of Duty multiplayer and God, it's been so many years. So,
Carl, you gonna play it in Game Pass? You gonna do it?
I'm not gonna have the time. But if I
drop metaphor for a little while,
yeah, just for a couple hours and play the campaign. Yeah.
Can't do it, man. You know how long
you will drop metaphor for Call of Duty. You will.
I would though. Like if I had the time, it's a game that I would jump in. Like at a different point in my life, like this would be my time to like, all right, let me try a Call of Duty, because it's on Game Pass. So like it's less risk there, and this looks like a good one. I'm interested to see if this one also reviews well. There's a lot to go around this to watch as far as like the impact on Game Pass. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Is this what Shawn Layden is looking for?
Maybe. Maybe he misses Call of Duty. That's the problem.
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. So next up is so that is our picks of the week. Our picks of the week for the week of October 21st through the 27th. You can go to www.releases.com and check out all the new game releases for this week and through the rest of October and beyond. www.releases.com. So go check it out. So, alrighty. So next up, Game Pass Wave 2, Carl, for October. So what do we got in store for the rest of the month?
All right. You got the graphic here? Because I got more comments about the graphic than the games. All right. Real quick.
Country.
Already out from October 16th, South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
Yay. Love that game.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Play that one if you haven't yet. Yeah. Donut Country, October 17th. Mech Warrior 5 Clans, October 17th. This is a new release. Day one on Game Pass. Also day one, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on October 25th. Then you got the weird stuff here, which your Modern Warfare 3 is on cloud now on October 25th. And Warzone is on cloud. And then you have Ashen, October 29th. Dead Island 2, PC, just PC, but I guess was it already on console? I have no idea. October 31st. Then you have StarCraft Remastered, PC, November 5th, and StarCraft 2 Campaign Collection, PC, November 5th. So, what I wanted to bring up about this graphic here is because the complexity of this is really showing now. Like, I think it's easy to understand if you know what's going on, but when you look at this graphic, if I'm a console player, all right, what am I getting new here, right? Like, if I'm on Game Pass Standard, what am I getting here? I got to look very specifically and see, Standard, all I get is Ashen, Donut Country, and Fractured But Whole. Like some really old, pretty much old games. I don't know what Donut Country is. Is that new? I don't know what the hell that is.
No, it's old. I played that game. It's basically like a hole that keeps getting bigger and you just keep eating everything around. Okay. It's kind of fun.
And then you're sort of like faking this list of games by putting Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Warzone on there. Like, that's just adding it to the cloud. One's a free-to-play game and one's already on Game Pass for other levels. Like, I really don't like this. I think they need to redesign this and let me know, like, if I'm Game Pass Ultimate on console, Tell me specifically what I can play if I'm not on PC and not caring about cloud. If I'm standard, very specifically tell me I can't play any of the good stuff here. Only only the older stuff. I can't play, Black Ops. I can't play Mech Warrior. I can't play, obviously, StarCraft. That's PC only. So, like, yeah, they need to really rethink how they're presenting this information. Not like.
Okay.
Yeah. This is such a weird drop, and with some of the stuff just cloud only, it's like, why? Like Dead Island 2 is one thing, but Modern Warfare 3, that should be on everything.
And it is. It already is. That's the thing. It's already on console and PC Game Pass. This is just coming to cloud now because it, for some reason, wasn't before. Okay. That's the confusing part about it. When people look at this, they don't know what exactly they're getting or what's new. And that's this is the new style. They changed this because standard is officially out now, and they have to tell you what's standard on. So you have to look very carefully underneath the game's picture to see if you're in the standard place or not. I don't like this. They should really hard stop and change this.
Yeah. But anyway, those are the games dropping for Wave 2. So, all right. So now it's time for the Arena Productions programming notes. So each and every week we talk about some of the programming, the videos that we're putting out here on the Arena Productions. And we are not only a video game related site here on YouTube. We are also science fiction entertainment as well. So we're going to talk about some of our programming notes, but we do have some other video game video content that did come out this week. So I want to talk about that. So first up, Burly put out his review of Zelda, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So Burly, have anything you want to talk about with that?
Yeah. So this was a very fun game to play, and very creative game. Very creative, Shawn Layden. You need to look at this. This is a game. If you are a Zelda fan, especially a 2D Zelda fan, I highly recommend. And the video, it doesn't really spoil too much, but I give you some little tips on certain things you may want to know if you are playing the game. Some little hints. And one thing I will admit is there is no one solution to get around in the world. If you have all the different echoes, you have different ways. Well, one way worked for someone else. I don't have this, or I want to use this instead. You can find your way. The more creative you are, the more things you can do in this game.
Yeah. Cool. So go check that out. And then also on the video game side, a new Tron game is coming. So Tron Catalyst coming in 2025. So please check out my video on that. So will this sell in 2025? So can the Tron franchise be successful with all the big creativity and all the AAA games that are coming in 2025? We shall see. So anyway,
well, you got to get Jeff Bridges back.
Yeah. But good stuff though. Yeah, it looks fun. I mean, watch the video; you'll see some of the gameplay footage of it there. So, please check that out. Okay, and on the entertainment side now, I'm not going to show these images because they could be spoilery for some people who have not watched it. So I do have episodes 5 and 6 up now for Agatha All Along. So if you have not watched those videos, please go to Disney Plus and check out the episodes, and then come back and enjoy our videos on that. But episode 5 and 6's reviews are up here on the Arena Productions now. You could check those out. So I'm not going to show the thumbnail images because they are spoilery. So please go and check out the episodes, and then come and enjoy our videos. And then finally, Sweet Pea. So season 1, my season 1 review of Sweet Pea. if you have not seen this, please go and check out this season, this series. It's amazing. Well, that's because you're in the United States, Carl. It's a UK based series, and of course Ella Purnell is from the UK, and I mean it's if you like dark humor, and Ella Purnell in this series, she plays a serial killer. It is really good. I highly recommend it. Check out my review. It's up on the channel now for season 1. It is on Stars. It's from Sky TV. And I think Burley was saying earlier, it is also on Amazon. So you can check it out on Amazon. But it's really good. I highly recommend it. Please check out my review. If you watch this, if you watch the season, it's only like 6 episodes. But and we're not sure if we're going to get a season 2, but hopefully we will, because Ella Purnell is just amazing in it. So Sweepy, yes. So season 1 review. So that is the weekly wrap of the Arena Productions programming notes. So of course, thank you all for your support and watching all of our content here on the Arena Productions. So not only video games, but also science fiction and entertainment related content is here on the channel. So thank you so much. All right. So next
I'm gonna add one more thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, no, I'm going to add it because I should be saying it. On the audio side, it's not on the YouTube channel, but on our Spotify, and I will put the link here for you. So let me go ahead and get to that. So over on Spotify, Leah and our other contributor and co-host, Fubu87, did a review of Joker 2. So please go and check out the audio version of that, which is over on Spotify there. So there is the link to our Spotify and all the shows there. Leah, go ahead, take it away if you want to say a few words about that.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun discussing the movie and the themes, and TLDR, I like the movie, and I'm trying to convince Fubu to watch, and I succeeded. He got intrigued, and he will watch the
movie. So it wasn't Fubu's review; it was your review. So yeah, it's like.
Yeah, but like he asked the questions, I answered, and it's kind of a dialogue back and forth. So.
Right.
It's more Leah trying to sell Fubu on the movie, and sell it on to other people.
That was my impression as well. Yeah, that's what I got from it. Yeah, good stuff. So if you see,
I did listen, by the way. I was not convinced to watch the movie, but I did listen.
Well, thanks for listening, Carl. We appreciate your support.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Burley. There's the force choke for this episode. Yes. Yeah. Leah, go do it. Leah, come on, our TikTok moment. There you go. Okay.
Thank you, Carl, for playing along.
Yeah, good stuff.
I will say much better acting than Fubu. That was very convincing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So please go to Spotify and check out Leah's audio portion of the Joker 2 review. So please go and check that out. All righty. Okay, so it's time to talk about the games that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. If I ever get a chance to play a game again, due to all the content and the production I do for the channel here and all the videos, I'll hopefully get back to Metaphor Fantazio, as well as Resident Evil Village on the PlayStation side of things. So that is my hope for this week. So, Carl, I know what you're going to say. Metaphor Fantazio, that has taken up all of your life, besides your family life. Yeah.
That's going to be my answer for, I don't know,
the rest of the year at least.
At least 2 months. Yeah, maybe 3. We'll see how long it takes me to get through the game.
Yeah. Leah, what are you going to play this week?
I'm going to kick off my Halloween vibe, so maybe I'll revisit Alien Isolation, like inspired by Burly.
Yes.
But there's really a cool indie game coming out on the Switch, Crow Country. which is like this take on like older Resident Evil Silent Hills. So it's like very pixelated and looks really old school, and it's very interesting. So I might check that out. That sounds really cool for Halloween.
Nice.
Spooky season.
Yeah, well, it's already out here in Japan. It's already Sunday the 20th. I mean, only 11 days left till until Halloween. So, yeah, cool stuff. Halloween is just not the same in Japan as it is like in the States. Or everybody goes trick or treating, all the kids and stuff like that. They go to the shopping malls. They go to their in their local communities and everything. And I miss that, but I mean, yeah, here in Japan, it's like they have like a little Halloween party and that's it. They don't do any trick or treating or anything like that. They don't understand the cultural aspect of it all. But
it probably depends on where you live, right?
Yeah,
especially here in the States, also because my neighborhood is fantastic for it. The one next block over, and there's so many street houses that have nice Halloween decorations. They're all ready to go now. And there'll be tons of kids going on, but that wasn't true in other places that I lived in the States. So.
Right. It all depends on where you live. Like myself being in the San Francisco Bay Area, in San Francisco, a lot of, the area that I lived in was pretty safe, but there were other parts of San Francisco you just wouldn't go to, So,
it's really a nice suburb type thing.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, good stuff. Burly, what are you going to be playing and streaming this week?
Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's the main game. Do a little Mario Party since that just released.
Nice.
And in my free time, I maybe put a little bit of Metaphor, as long as my Steam Deck battery can hold.
Yeah. How long before you have to recharge, usually?
Oh, that's the thing. Like on some games, you get a couple hours, but on Metaphor, it's like I haven't had it where it's been fully charged, but I get like an hour and a half to about 2 hours with Metaphor.
Nice.
Like I could get a lot more if I turned a lot of things down, but I want things to run as best as they can.
And that's the bare minimum of time you're going to want for a Metaphor session.
Yeah.
Probably going to want to play like 3 hours.
If I could get 3 hours blocked off where I can play that game without getting pinged and getting stuff, that'd be great, but that ain't my life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, of course, you can watch this podcast live here, and in a couple of weeks, the times will be changing in Japan for the podcast, but for everywhere else in the world, it's going to be the same time. So instead of 6 a.m. on Sundays here in Japan, we will be going live at 7 a.m. That will be from the beginning of November. So, yeah. So I get to sleep like 1 hour later. I get to, instead of 4:30 in the morning having to get up, I'll be able to get up at 5:30 in the morning. So, but it'll be the same time for all of you out in Europe and in the West. And in the United States and Canada, it'll still be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we go back to Standard Time, and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when we go back. Leah, you were going to say something?
I'm going to say next week I got to check the time because the time will also change here. So I've got to check in to see if I'm on time.
Yes.
Just that.
Yeah. So for those in Europe, it will be changing. So like 1 hour. So so please check on that. So all right. So that's going to do it for our show. So thank you so much for all of your support, and for all of you that are watching in video on demand later on. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of your support on all the other content here that we put on the Arena Productions. So anyway, to end our show is our indie recording artist spotlight. So each and every week we spotlight an indie recording music artist and support their content, as well as have a outro with music from that indie recording artist. So this week's spotlight is on Kadir Demir, working out of Copenhagen. Modern classical composer Kadir Demir creates highly unique and eclectic music. So using a broad assortment of instruments with tonal influences from both East and West. So he composes music for soundtracks, documentaries, short films, TV, and video games. From his album titled Everything for the Homeland, and the song is called Cello in the Middle East. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 191. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burlyman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. We hope to catch you in the next episode. So next Saturday, so we'll still be in daylight time, but for those of you in Europe, it will be a 1 hour difference. So please, we'll be giving some information about that later on. So anyway, take care, everyone, and have a great week of gaming. Peace.